Fear, it's often misunderstood as just an emotion, a sudden spike of adrenaline, a brief moment of alarm. But beneath that surface lies a much more profound reality. Fear is a system, a complex embodied framework that silently teaches how to exist before the mind fully understands. It is the first language of survival, older than thought, woven into the fibers of human life itself. This isn't a call to action or a push toward change. This is an invitation to observe, to listen closely, to understand, without trying to fix or judge, to explore how fear operates as a quiet companion in human life, shaping the subtle ways we exist. From the earliest days of life, long before you had words or reason, you were learning how to exist safely in an unpredictable world. Not through conscious thought, but through experience and sensation. You began to collect information, subtle and unspoken, that guided your sense of self. Imagine a young child in a room where expressing frustration is met with a frown, or tears are met with silence. A glance that follows a bold statement with discomfort. A smile that rewards a perfectly timed joke. These moments aren't just reactions, they're lessons encoded deep into your nervous system. Fear in these early stages isn't terror, it's a form of correction, a gentle but persistent instruction. Don't be too loud, don't show too much, don't upset the balance. What begins as safety turns into a language your body and mind speak fluently. Over time, these silent corrections build more than habits. They become lenses through which you view yourself and the world. You stop seeing these responses as protective. Instead, you begin to think of them as innate. I'm just a quiet person. I'm naturally agreeable. Or I'm not someone who gets angry. But these identities are often rehearsed adaptations, not fixed essences. Consider how fear works as an invisible architect of your inner world. It shapes how you interpret opportunity, how you respond to challenge, how you manage relationships. An invitation might feel like a risk. An expression of anger might feel dangerous. A desire might feel costly to express. The nervous system, especially early on, can't tell the difference between social rejection and physical danger. Both register as threats, so belonging, connection, becomes the highest form of safety. This creates a complex paradox. The self you navigate the world with is often the self that fear has sculpted carefully and invisibly, and yet you rarely recognize fear as the guiding force because it has become your default mode. Fear disguises itself as wisdom, practicality, or maturity, voices that sound like your own inner narrator. Think about your day-to-day decisions. Why do you speak softly in some rooms? Why do you withhold your opinions? Why do you push yourself to perform even when exhausted? These aren't random. They're responses shaped by fear's quiet logic. Even silence can be a strategy, so can detachment. These behaviors are practiced over time until they feel like natural parts of who you are. What feels like your nature may be a carefully assembled collection of survival strategies. They were necessary once, perhaps still are, but they also have the power to limit you. You didn't fully choose this self. You negotiated it in environments where to be rejected felt like danger. This self isn't false or shameful. It is real and functional, but it is also incomplete. The paradox of survival is that the very thing that kept you safe might now be the thing holding you back. Fear isn't simply an occasional visitor, but a continuous system embedded in the body's nervous network. It operates beyond conscious control, setting thresholds and boundaries that shape your physical presence and psychological patterns. When you enter a room, your body's internal sensors already assess safety. Your heart rate, your muscle tone, even your breathing adjust to invisible cues, learned from early experience and refined through countless interactions. This process is deeply embodied. It isn't thinking about fear, but feeling it as a baseline, a readiness, a tension, a containment. The body remembers before the mind can articulate. Fear's influence extends into the architecture of thought itself. It pre-shapes what you notice, what you expect, what you anticipate. A new opportunity is shadowed by doubt before you consciously consider it. An honest conversation is filtered through worry about possible rejection. A desire to express yourself is muted by the cost implicit in the unspoken rules you carry. Fear acts like an internal editor, silently redacting parts of your reality to maintain coherence with what it has learned is safe. Fear's presence is paradoxical. It offers protection but also constrains growth. It forms a framework for survival but can enclose you in invisible cages. Its silent instructions are both a guide and a guardrail. This paradox doesn't demand resolution but deep acknowledgement. To live fully with fear is to recognize this complexity and move with awareness, not resistance. At its core, fear is about connection, or the threat of disconnection. The earliest lesson encoded is that belonging is safety and rejection is peril. This social dimension of fear molds behavior not merely for individual survival, but for group harmony. You learn what expressions are tolerated, which emotions are safe to show, and which must be hidden. These social boundaries become internalized boundaries, shaping your self-presentation and interaction patterns. Fear is an ancient, complex system woven into human experience. Understanding fear deeply means embracing its nuances, its contradictions, and its silent logic. It invites us to notice without judgment, to observe without rushing to change. In this deep knowing lies a new space, where freedom isn't about escaping fear, but about living with it consciously. If this exploration has opened a quiet space inside your awareness, that is enough. Here, we don't seek to fix or overcome. We learn to see fear as it is, a vital thread in the fabric of being human. And in that seeing, we find room to breathe. What new space might open for you when you truly observe fear?